We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, and this is the Land Academy Show.
This is episode number 1944, and today we are talking in depth about a couple of topics. The first one is how we all have access to the same exact resources. All of us have the same exact resource exposure to buy and sell land. And the second topic is 3 real reasons why buying and selling land may not work for you.
Is one personality flaws?
No, it could be though.
Yeah.
Well, I kept it to 3. There's several.
We're going to talk about 30 reasons why. Just kidding. Good.
No, there's some stuff. Look, there's some stuff you got to do to make this really work for yourself. And we're going to spend the next hour and a half talking about it. This is not meant to be negative. It's meant to be a real positive thing.
Okay.
We have, and then at the very end, Jill and I, as always, we're going to talk about our motivational. I learned a lot today about, I've learned a lot in the last, it's March. So the last couple of months about Land Academy members in a really positive way, what works and what doesn't.
Cool. What's different? Why do you think you've learned more now?
I think it's experience and age, and for whatever reason, and we should talk to our marketing staff about this. The people that are joining Land Academy really recently are really, really experienced and want to be here. That's called there's master. I call them master's degrees level of interest in learning how to do this, and
I think because you led that first accountability group. That may be where it's coming from.
Yeah, maybe.
Too. That's it. That we haven't done that in a while, and now we brought them back. They are free for members, by the way. So that could be what's going on.
Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely part of it. Hope you're also enjoying this new 2023 weekly show. We moved from a daily show to a weekly show because people are asking us for a more in-depth look at exactly how to buy and sell land, or at least how we do it.
Yeah.
Each week, we also answer questions from our Land Academy Discord forum. We review land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar, and we take a deep dive into 2 land-related topics that are, for the most part, requested in some way by our members. Now let's take a look. Take a question actually posted by one of our members on the Land Academy Discord online community. If you want a sneak peek at our Discord channel, please go to landacademy.com. It's free.
Kevin wrote, "Hello. So I got a signed purchase agreement back in the mail, and the seller left his phone number, no email. Multiple times calling the number, it says the number you're calling is not accepting your call." It's like with these spam things, and it sounds like they accidentally have it turned up too high. I found the guy on True People Search. He's very old. I've tried 5-6 other phone numbers of family members, but they are all disconnected. Does anyone have any other ideas of contacting the seller before we start just mailing him a follow-up? I was going to say you're going to have to mail him now. That's apparently how he replies. He responds, and what's interesting? It's not very common, but it does happen that I have sellers that don't have email. They may not have great internet. They may have, old school cable. Maybe it's available in the area too. They just don't do it because they're 80, and that's okay. But that could be the situation, and you have to write them back, and that's what I would just be doing right now, writing them back and just saying, I'm trying to call you from this number. Can you please show that as a recognized number so we can talk? Or can you please call me at this number? I will watch for you, kind of thing.
I think it's really important to meet sellers from where they come. Mm-hmm. And they like everything in the world. They all come in different shapes and sizes. And I don't think it would be appropriate to talk to somebody who's 95 and about selling their land as if they were 25 or 30. They both have really different access to different resources and tools, and communication tools specifically. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, did you try texting?
Yeah, I could be wrong completely.
Did you reach out on Snapchat? Maybe they're there. Just kidding.
All those little things like, darn, I wanted to buy the piece of dirt. He signed it and I'd love to do the deal. Those are all positive pathways and positive signs to buying a piece of property. You know, this whole thing is no different than the classic sales funnel. If you send out 5,000 offers, you're going to get all kinds of responses, positive, negative. It might be old people, young people, but you're going to get some responses. If you send out 50,000 letters, as I'm going to talk about at the end of the show today, that funnel is much, much bigger. And so things like this will happen. You're probably not going to spend as much time in the future because there's other deals to do. Mm-hmm. Today's first topic is how we all have access to the exact same resources. I think a lot of this information is coming from the accountability groups, because I get a chance now to once a week after our Thursday call for people who sign up for it to talk to new members and address their concerns. It's more of like an office hours situation where the group of people that we have, it's an open forum.
Well, yeah. Can you explain the whole format, the flow of these accountability groups?
Sure.
For myself included, because I only kind of was there for one. Not that I don't have things going on. I'm contributing, but I was only there for one of these.
I set up the accountability groups based on my experience in going to college, where professors would have office hours.
Okay.
And so it's not an education. It's not an hour of me talking about how to do a mailer, or Jill about how to answer the phone.
Because you have that.
Yeah, you have access to that, and you have a textbook. You have a video textbook as a Land Academy member, and you would theoretically go to office hours in an educational setting, which is what this is, after you read the material, or that was been assigned, or did whatever the assignments were, and you had extra questions. You had more questions. Yeah, I get this, but I don't understand this. Well, we're all adults now, so it ends up being whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. It's office hours. It's not Weight Watchers or Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay. It's not how much weight did you lose or how much mail did you send?
Yes, it's not that.
Okay. So is it gonna stay like that, or might it change? Because some people need how much mail did you send?
So it's going to stay like that.
Oh.
You know, that's a different product. How much mail did you?
Well, accountability. I think of like, what are you doing? Are you moving forward?
Hey, I've done many of these accountability groups now over the years. So has Joe, and it ends up being, we end up talking about whatever our members want to talk about. This isn't, we're not here to talk about, like I just mentioned, we're not here to. You have to hold yourself accountable, and then we're here to answer any questions that you have and provide these resources and tools, which is what we're going to talk about, resources and tools for you to accomplish this.
Okay.
Jill and I have spent since 2015 a tremendous amount of time and energy and resources and capital to convert the resources that she and I have developed over the years to buy and sell land for ourselves, and which we continue to use, to make them much more user-friendly and web-enabled. For instance, we used to do our own mail, and we eventually graduated ourselves because we were tired of using companies, whatever they are now, they go in and out of business, actual printing companies to do our mailers, and we were just never satisfied. So we started to do it ourselves. And ultimately, people are asking, well, what mailing company do you guys use? And we said we're doing it ourselves. And then we made that service available after we perfected it in the form of offers to owners. We have tons of resources like that. Parcelfact is one, is a website that we have. These are all .coms. It's because we were having trouble finding the real estate that we were trying to buy. So we created a resource for ourselves. It was ugly and clunky and pretty awful to use, but ultimately hired a tech team, myself included, to create the resource so you can find land much more easily. The list goes on and on and on. Everybody always has wanted, since minute one, since we started Land Academy, an easy to use, now phone enabled online community. In the beginning, we called it Success Plant. In the middle, I will say we called it landinvestors.com, and now we're using Discord, which everybody seems to love. And so that's a real-time 24/7 answer or ask questions from people that it's a good way to get deals funded. And so what I'm really saying here is that we have access to all the same exact resources. Is there a reason that Jill and I may or may not make as much money as you do buying and selling land? Yeah. And we're going to cover that in great detail in the next topic. But it's not for lack of resources. It's for probably the greatest variable in all this is experience. And the only way you can get experience is to spend time with other people, like in Discord and on our Thursday webinars and all of that. So you can gain that experience.
Exactly. I was thinking even other things like data sources and things like that.
Yeah, go ahead. I skipped along the top here.
Oh, okay.
There's a ton more resources that we have.
Right. So that's the big picture. If you really want to do this, you could dig in and do this on your own. There's people that have done that too. They listened to because this is not the first year. This is our 8th year of this podcast. And there's people like, I listened for 4 years and then I started doing it on my own. I'm like, why'd you wait that long? Because we can only deliver so much on every podcast, right? But if you sit and listen to all the podcasts, you could piece together everything that we do in Land Academy. If you want to fast forward that, you just join Land Academy, then you have that in one weekend kind of thing. But
and that's that's a great point. That's a personality choice.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of doing an incredible amount of research on something that's completely and totally free until I decide that, yep, I'm going to
I agree with that.
Give this a shot. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
Okay, got it.
I'm just saying, do as much research as you possibly can but when you make a commitment, make one.
But yeah, when you think about it, the data resources and mail resources and finding property resources and pricing, things that we need like comps to help us figure out pricing, the active properties right now and the sold properties. We all have access to all this stuff. It's putting it all together. I think that's important, and understanding what it is and how to use it. That's the key. Acting on it and having the resources like the money and the time to buy these properties and act on this stuff.
I really think that money is as a resource in a long list of resources I think you need.
That's a good resource.
Money is something that we have so readily available.
Yes.
Both Jill and I personally, and just a ton of people in our group have a tremendous amount of money that's ready to be thrown at really good land deals. So that should not be. That's also the most popular reason why I think people can't move forward on this is they think they have lack of funds or lack of access to money.
Exactly.
And it's a hard thing to swallow from anyone, because as you go through life, you have limited money. That's just how it is. And in a group like this, there's just limitless money if the deals are good. My entire life, except for recently, I've been strapped for money.
Yeah.
In one way or another. Until probably the last 4 or 5 years, I think that it's really gotten to a point where we're good.
I was just thinking, like in other worlds, it's the same thing. Like, okay, access to the same resources, right? Say like, going to college and business classes and things like that. There's so much you can get out there online right now and so many great books you can get your hands on that I'm going to argue that I may not need a degree. It depends on what it is, obviously.
Yeah.
But to learn the knowledge, to learn what I need to know, just to be a great leader. What if I want to, be a business manager, fill in the blank. There's so many great leadership books and managerial courses and things that you could take that we all have access to.
I mean, I think it all starts with just a natural interest.
Yeah.
And it's very, very hard. There's a lot of moving components to buying and selling land.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be interested in all of them.
That's true.
There's a Jack and a Jill.
That's good. I'm interested in answering the phone. You are not.
Right. But the stuff I am interested in, I'm really interested in doing it right and following through. And so Jill's got access to me. I have access to her. And you have access to all kinds of people in our group that are going through the same thing or at some level.
Exactly.
So now we're looking at success as defined by constants and variables. So we just reeled off a tremendous number of constants that we all have. We're all the same. There's only a few variables. And the biggest one, I think, is it always ends up being money. But Where your interest starts and stops in doing this is how successful you're going to be. Mm-hmm. Not for lack of money or any real other resource.
I agree.
Let's take a look at one of our favorite land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday webinar.
Would you do this deal? In Columbia County, Georgia. Not sure how to assess this one, she's saying, but this is the accepted offer price. What do we got? 12 acres around stuff.
What's your initial, without reading the description, which we'll do in a second, what's your thought on this?
It looks like it's left over for something because there are houses darn near everybody else except for that one spot to the northeast. So that gives me a little bit of a concern. Now, having said that, it looks like there's a mountain or something or a gully.
We're going to see.
Yeah.
But that first impression is really good to practice. Like you pull it up, bam, what's your first impression?
So we have the access. We see that. We've got adjacent. We've got that. We know it's 15 minutes from downtown Augusta. Lots of development in the area. Asking price is now $700,000. I think I know what's going on here. And we're trying to figure out if we can make it work. Totally know what's going on.
Me too.
Okay. So, and we're trying to figure out if we can make it work. 12 acres without the house. It was on the market for 9 months in 2021 for $300,000. 1 acre parcel has a brick house from the 60s in good shape where the seller currently lives. Yes. Best use may be subdividing for SFR development. Spoke to a broker in Augusta who agrees and recommended an engineer do a simple concept to assess the topography and figure out how many lots could be placed there. Does this seem appropriate or extra for this deal? Dana, this sounds to me like I listen to these podcasts too, where you pick up the phone and you cold call, or you do texting things, and all you're doing is reaching out to an area that you like and seeing who really wants to sell. And then you start talking to them and have a communication like this for a month. And they finally go, yeah, okay, I do want to sell something. And then what they're throwing out to you is may or may not be what you're looking for, and definitely not the price you want. So this, if they couldn't sell it for $300,000 in 2021, I wouldn't touch this. I wouldn't touch this for less than $100,000, maybe 50.
50 is the number.
Yeah, I'm thinking 50. So they don't want to sell, or you know what? How about this? She doesn't want to sell, and you wore her down, and she gave you her make me move number. You know what? So this is what this lady, I think, said. This Dana, I like this Dana, or at least for a month, Dana won't go away. Fine, here's my number, $700,000.
That's not the typical Land Academy deal.
Oh, she's selling us the home in the middle.
Yeah, with it, right?
Yeah, I still don't know. Okay, are they all worth $1 million? If it's really worth $1 million for the whole thing, then I can wrap my head around $700,000.
Let's see what her precious house is worth.
And I wait
This
for just
property
a few people to call me
On
back.
4 acres is worth $145,000. So
It's a make me move number.
if I were to value this property without a house on it, just dirt, it would be $14,000. So that's $14,000 for 4 acres. This is
$700,000.
12 acres. So $50,000 or $60,000 is what is dead on.
Yeah. Well, even throw in the house. She wants to sell the house too.
So the house is worth
430.
430. Okay, that's all right. That's good. That's not so bad.
Cool. So that means maybe in a good day, maybe all the stars are in alignment, Dana. You can buy these 12 acres and the house and sell it for $500,000.
That's exactly what I think. So
That's
you need to buy it
perfect.
for
200.
150 to 200.
Well, let's get a house on it. If she's living there in the house and you could still work it, let's just say I could sell it for $500,000. If I can buy it sub 400 and make $100,000, I would do it because it's a house deal now. I am very happy to announce for the first time ever, I mean ever, because it's kind of timely too, because a few minutes ago we talked about money and that being a variable sometimes. Well, just getting started, you do need to have some cash to get the education. And guess what? We now have payment plans. So check it out. To join Land Academy, we now have some payment plan options. Check it out. Just go to landacademy.com under join. I think there's like a join here tab. It'll take you right to it and you'll see it. So I'm really excited. This is the first time that we've ever done this. And I think it's going to help a lot of people out.
Let's take another question posted by one of our members on a Land Academy Discord online community. Again, if you want a sneak peek of our Discord channel, please go to landacademy.com. It's free.
Okay, Peter wrote, good morning, everyone. So we have a good deal with a signed purchase agreement that we just applied to get deal funding for this morning. Timing question. Do you guys wait to set things up with the title company until after you confirm that you have funding for your deal? Or do you set things up with the title company immediately? I'm a lock it in person. So put it in for deal funding because you know it's that good. So if this is the thing, Peter, I'm assuming it's that good. You're like, we're buying this. We got to take this deal down. Put it in deal funding and then immediately open escrow. And then just say, I'll let you know later. I'll give me a couple hours or a day, and I'll get to you what name it's going to go in, who's going to be my funding partner, and that kind of stuff. And I would do that totally.
I agree with Jill completely. Every single part of what she said. There are a lot of comments about this because there's a lot of deal funders in our group, and some prefer to approve the deal very quickly and then work in escrow with you. We don't necessarily do that. I agree with Jill. I think tie it up and tell the escrow agent right away. Here's the purchase agreement. Here's the terms of the deal. The way that we fund these deals is through private funding. And so we may have to change the name, where the deed recording name and all of that. If this freaks them out, then it shouldn't at all, because it's real standard and simple.
Yeah.
They're the wrong escrow agent. So you're going to serve a couple of purposes here. But you will have to change almost, I think with all of us, the original purchase agreement and then the two parties that are buyers and sellers, it's going to change.
Some people have had updated wording on their things that it says and assignees or something like that, and then that's been fine, and then it's no big deal. That depends on what the PA says, and it also depends on that title agent. No matter what, worst case scenario, you say the title agent says we need to do another purchase agreement, but to put that name on it as a buyer. Done, no problem. You can DocuSign that in 5 minutes.
A really material percentage of deals get assigned like that during the process. If the escrow person that you're dealing with has done more than 5 or 8 deals, they're going to say, "Oh, no problem."
We know it's funny. Like this is a no big deal thing too. We have done this ourselves. Like we have actually open escrow on properties that we're buying, and then Jack will come along and go, "Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I want you to put that one in that entity's name." Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Just get a new purchase agreement signed by the seller. We're going to put it over in this company name. That's all. You're doing the exact same thing.
So unfortunately,
as far as they're concerned,
if you read about this on the internet and maybe even in Discord about assigning to a new party within your group, there's always one or two outlying strange examples of why people freaked out about it or it didn't work. Don't pay attention to it.
Your seller doesn't care.
It's the same old thing with all of the internet. The 90% of it's awesome, but the 10% of it that with bad stories and just bad everything seems to rise to the top. So
there's nothing bad about it unless they're making it bad.
Well, sure. No, I think if you're new, this is for really new people. And if you're doing, really detailed about what you want to try to hedge off or not, you're going to run into stories about why you can't assign purchase agreements.
That's
and
ridiculous.
It's all not true.
Yeah. It's like, I know I was going to give you a cashier's check and now I'm giving you cash. And they're like, no, I want a cash. Okay, really? Really, we're gonna go back and forth about this. That's the same level of that. Who flipping cares?
And it's not just land. It's everything on the internet. It's like that.
It's silly.
Today's second topic is the 3 real reasons why buying and selling land may not work for you.
Now this has my attention. Seriously.
Jill and I took notes, and we each came up secretly and separately of our 3 reasons. And Jill's going to go first.
Okay. So I think that the 3 reasons why this would not work for you is, number 1, you don't take any action at all. You're stuck in the still doing your recon. Even if you join Land Academy and you're just spending way too much time watching everything, pricing and overpricing and pricing and overpricing, and so the mail never goes out, but just basically no action at all. That's one reason. Number 2, this won't work for you if you don't have the confidence to trust yourself and everything that we teach you and make these acquisition decisions. That is going to be a problem too. That will keep you from moving forward, and it won't work. You've got to make a decision, period. And by the way, you have all kinds of resources to help you. Like,
well, all of them.
Well, all of them too. Like, I know, like, well, first of all, no mail, no action. Well, join the accountability group. I think accountability groups are there to help you be accountable. And you can make it that for yourself. You know, just showing up and holding yourself. Tell the group, by next week, I'm going to have a mailer out. And then come back to the group and tell the group, I did send my mailer out. Make it your own thing that you want, even if it's not being led that way. But you have to take some action. And then number two, so there's one way to solve that, right? Number two is, gosh, with the confidence in these acquisition decisions, okay, do the best you can. And then if you're still not sure, bring it up to us on the Thursday call. Drop it in Discord with your peers. You have people here that will help you to make sure that you're not making, any fatal flaws and buying good property until you don't need it. Then you won't need it. And by the way, too, you can also go back and watch. Well, read in Discord. Look at some of the deals people are doing. Like, okay, would I have bought that? Would I have made that decision? And you're going to learn from those examples. And on our Thursday member calls, if you go back and watch, as we discuss in great detail every darn week, why I would buy it or why I wouldn't buy it. And if I still would buy it, but I need this to change, or I need this price, or I need to know there's access, or I need to know this, you will start to pick up and you will gain that confidence. You will gain that knowledge so you can make these decisions. And so that takes care of number two. And then the third reason that I see that people, this is not working for them, they may have started out okay, but somewhere along the way, they lost motivation. And often it's like things take too long, or maybe they're doing a lot of things they don't want to do, kind of thing. So if things take too long, then you need to get yourself on a schedule. You need to give yourself a calendar and stick to it, because I might lose motivation too if I'm like, okay, I just got Land Academy. I spent a month picking a county, then I spent a month getting in mail, and now I'm waiting, and I still don't, I'm watching for the offers, and I'm afraid now to pick one. I might even lose that. You've got to really get yourself into the flow, into a system. And when the mail goes out, okay, 2 weeks later, I need more mail going out. And 2 weeks later, I need more mail going out. Because by doing that and keeping everything going forward, you're going to constantly be working on things, and you're going to be constantly be watching properties being sold. That's motivation for me. When I see my bank balance going up, like, oh, that one sold. And then 10 days later, that one sold. And then 2 weeks later, that one sold. Great. And you're always moving forward. That to me is a great way to solve your motivation problem. But that's how I look at it. What are your...
My first one is general follow through, but you'll notice the three things Jill talked about were very personality driven. Yeah. And so my three are a little bit more technical, but I don't want to distract or take away from her points, because I really think that they're extremely valid. If you have experience in follow through, here's some real core life examples about successful follow through. Like it or not, believe in it or not, spending 4 years to get a stupid freaking degree is a real good example. I've learned later in life, when Jill and I hired a lot of people, I never look at their education. I want to meet them and talk to them, and I can tell you that 4-year degree experience as an employer, what they're looking for, most employers, and not talking about Google or the top 3 law firms, because that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about regular people in regular jobs, and like us. I want to see that they spent 4 years. They had what it takes to deal with the minutia and all the BS that is associated with sitting there for 4 years on a college campus and actually having the follow through to finish it. It's not what grades they got. It's not what degree they chose. Did you finish it? Did you follow through? We have a disproportionate number of people in our group who are the real successful ones, specifically in career path, who have come from or right now own other businesses, because that's all this is. This is a startup with all the tools. And we couldn't, I don't think, make it easier for that type of personality type. So I think follow through is the number one scenario. Do business owners really enjoy anything about doing payroll?
No.
But you do it. If you want to get an accounting degree, you have to suffer through 2 years of stuff that has nothing to do with what you're there for. And so whether or not that business model, that bachelor's degree business model is going to be viable in the future, that's a whole different topic. But it's just all follow through. If you started a business and it didn't work, there's some follow through to that. There's some huge value in that. I've started many businesses that haven't worked. So Joe and I have failed at several together. And do I look at it like we failed at something? Not at all. It's just all it did was, in the end, and Jill now says this pretty loudly anytime anything else comes up. No, why don't we just buy and sell more land?
Yeah. Last time
we know how to do it. We've got all the access to a tremendous amount of capital. We're not going to make bad decisions. And she's right.
Yeah.
Follow through is my number one reason why I don't think that this, and if you have to really ask yourself, do I have a follow through type personality? There's nothing wrong with not having a type A personality like both Jill and I have. And because we have to follow through on everybody, probably to our own fault. There's nothing wrong if you're not into that. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying this might not be the best career choice for you. Number two is you are not honest with yourself about where you're good at something and where you're not. I was extremely guilty of this, and I was finally wised up and hired somebody who was good at answering the phones and a good salesperson. And it changed my business overnight. This is a lot of years ago before Jill and I joined forces. And then ultimately, the best thing that ever happened is Jill and I joining together when she's just a natural on the phone and really enjoys it. In her pastime, she doesn't sit around and try to create better Excel skills or find different ways that we can apply trolling, let's say, to find a new market. But I do. Mm-hmm. In her spare time, she's reading books about how to sell stuff or how to buy things or how to be a better investor or how to be, what's the new climate of how women are running things now, which is becoming more and more popular, and in my opinion, rightfully so. And so that's just who she is. So no one's sitting around asking Jill to do something that she doesn't want ever at work. And the same thing with me. Mm-hmm. So please be honest with yourself. You have some phone skills or not. I know I don't. If I had to, I could do it, but I don't have to. Mm-hmm. The third thing is, and I can't say this enough, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, is sending the mail. We have people that have, for whatever reason, have proven this to themselves and send a tremendous amount of mail every month, and they reap the rewards for that. And so if you're getting hung up on, which I understand, not getting a mailer out, or, and I think this happens way more than it gets discussed in our group, is you just can't bring yourself to spend $5,000 on a mailer. I understand that, but then be honest with yourself about, is this going to happen or not? Mm-hmm. Those are my three.
I love it. It's good. And again, it's not like a black and white, like you don't have money. That's not on it. You don't, have a degree. That's not it. You don't know Excel. That's not it. You don't have whatever. Because you can learn all that stuff. You really can. And we watched it. That's one of the nice things about Land Academy now. People don't ask us the same questions now that they used to ask us in the beginning, because we have such a strong community of that people can see the results and they know that it works. So they don't have to even ask that stuff. And I've watched over the years people overcome a lot of these little hurdles, like Excel, either gotten a partner or really they just got down and learned it.
Yeah.
That's really what happens. They've spent, they get Land Academy, they start watching, and right away it's Excel. So now they got to pause, spend a weekend, take a couple courses, and then come back, pick up where they left off, and then they can go with it. And you can do that. That's it.
Yep.
There's no real thing like I'm trying to think if there's any fatal thing that has kept someone from being successful, and I don't have one.
No. It's
Not
all
one.
the only one that I am forced to come up with one. It's really a combination of Jill's three things. It's just, you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And in the end,
You don't like it.
yeah, you don't
That's
like it.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Then don't do it.
Or you like it and you like the idea of having money and you like all that.
Yeah.
Just right. When we started Land Academy in 2015, we had a few built-in customers because they were our regular customers who were selling them land. And they were really into it. They didn't question it.
Yeah.
When we opened it to the public, the number one question for probably the first 12 months, and I'll have to tell you, Jill and I traded off opinions about whether or not we should continue because we were spending too much time explaining to people
How this works.
that it works.
Yeah.
Their question was, does this work? And you guys are probably crooks.
Right.
And so, I had to look inward and see how we're presenting this. And because there wasn't anything at the time on the market like that at all.
Right.
There are a couple other buy and sell land programs, but they're all had to do with back taxes and financing. And we were real adamant when we released this, this isn't the right way to do this. You got to send a mailer out. You got to send a ton of mailers out. And by the way, it costs some money to do that, which people are like, wait a minute, it costs money.
And you have to pay for data? What? Yeah.
But after a year or so of watching us and watching other people taking a chance and doing really well with it, I've never haven't answered that for years and years and years.
Exactly.
I haven't answered that question.
That's good.
Let's take a look at another one of our favorite land acquisitions from our weekly Thursday member webinar.
In Clay County, Florida, 1.08 acres. Offered $8,000. They counted at 12. House right next to the property. Public road, gravel, comps are all over the board. Seller called and stated he would only sell if they got 12. I don't think it's a good deal at 12, but decent at 8. Figured I'll ask you guys before I decide to walk away from the deal. Love it. All right.
Here's my 5-second opinion on this. This is an awesome piece of dirt. There's houses all over the place. Still some vacant property. In fact, these two properties are vacant, and vacant. So I hope there's not some kind of weird slope thing going on here. We'll find out in a second. But that first 5-second opinion is really important. So I love this piece of dirt as a usable place to buy, to put a house. In a perfect world, these would all be developed. This is the last piece of land.
Can you make me feel good with the Florida? Thank you.
It's good.
I panic with Florida. I'm like, I need to see where the water is.
Passing all of my phase one due diligence tests, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's about the money.
So, Mama, I'm thinking you don't like the 12 because houses in the area are selling for sub 250 or sub 200.
103 active properties. This is just land of any size, and 156 sold in a zip. That's good too. Now it's just price. And here you go. 1,400, 2, 3, 3,000, 5,000, 5, 6, 6. I know.
Okay.
Let's do it Jill's way here.
Thank you.
Starts at 7 for 1.32 for 1 acre and above. 45 sold, 33 active. That's still good. Active, it starts at 16.
Yeah, your 8's good. I wouldn't go above it.
I think your 8's dead on.
So?
My first gut was like 8, 12, who cares? But no, it matters here.
It does matter.
8's good. I like 8. And I would buy it for 8.
Jill, you have something inspirational to share.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about the return of Land Academy ladies, which I'm so excited. So we had our first meeting last week. We meet on the first Tuesday of the month, and it is open to any female partner of a current active Land Academy member. And I think there was only one person. Trying to think here. It's a whole new group. It was so fun and so exciting. We're still kind of getting the word out here too. So I know I'm going to have some more alumni come back and rejoin this reprise of Land Academy ladies. But it was so fun. And it was just so many fresh ideas. It was amazing. We went for about 2 hours. I got to tell you, our first session was I shared something kind of, I think, something inspirational, and then I opened it up to the group. Like, okay, let's all get to know each other, and we're all on camera, we're all mic'd up, so it's really fun. And we all talked about, who we are, where we are, our experience up to this point, and we had a wide variety of experience too. Everything from brand new, not done a deal yet, to I have 100 seller finance deals I'm getting out of this, to I've done this many land deals and I'm looking to triple that, all over the map. People in different spaces in real estate that had come to us. Maybe some were agents that were still active, and some were like, I turned that off. We had attorneys. We have everything in this group. It was just amazing. So there are a couple things that we talked about that just rose to the top that I thought I'd share. And if you think this is something that would sing to you, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you about that. Even if you're not a Land Academy member, just, you want to learn more about the ladies group and what goes on there, because that might be what you need to get you here, get you going. That's totally great. You can send a note to support@landacademy.com and they'll give you more information. But the three things, so we talked about, I said, okay, who are you, where are you, and why are you here right now? Like, what do you need from this group? And the three top things that really popped up were, one is, I can't find a group like this anywhere on the planet. And I'm like, you are right, there is not one.
That's great, Jill.
They're like, I am here because nowhere can I be in a group of female like-minded people doing what I do, which is buying and selling land. And I'm like, you're right, it doesn't exist, and I'm so proud of that. So yay. The second thing that rose up that people talked about, they're like, and confidence. It's a woman thing. Everybody. I'm sure most people have trouble with confidence at some point in their life, because even if you're a little boy showing up for the baseball game, am I going to hit the ball or not? You're a little nervous about it. So we all have times like that. But for us, we're still kind of women in a man's world. Doing these real estate deals, which I personally love. And so we talked about, things that we're going to do to help each other and get even more confidence. There's several strong women in this group, by the way, too. But to get even more confidence going forward, doing these deals, doing bigger deals, and working in this space. And then the third thing that came up, which I did not even think it was going to be this popular, but they're like, oh, this is why we're here, is big picture wealth generation. Like, these women are not here selling Tupperware. Like, this is the whole thing. Yeah. This is not, the women in this group are not here to sell Tupperware or have a fill in the blank home party because we're just making ends meet.
That's great.
I'm just here to, make sure we can afford our vacation once a year, something like that. They're like, oh no, that's not what this group is, and that's not who we are. We are here to retire our husbands and make this a family business, starting with me as a woman. I'm like, that was awesome. So we had a really, really good time. And again, if that interests you and you're like, that's me, Jill, I want to be in a group. That's what I want. I want a group like that. Please reach out to my team and they will get your message to me, and we'll get you in there. Jack, what would you like to share? Do you have something informational to share with us today?
I do.
Thank you.
My topic is called reckless mailing.
Oh.
Part of what I do, part of what my responsibilities are in our land business and all the other companies we have, offers to owners and land, all of them, is to analyze and complete financial statements at the end of every month. And so I completed a year-to-date scenario in offers to owners where for the first time I reported and regurgitated the top 10 customers that we've had in offers to owners, which tells us who has been sending out mail and how much mail they're sending. And the top slot was over $900,000. Somebody spent over $950,000 on mail the first 2 months of this year. which is like, there's always a bell curve to these things. So that was extraordinary enough. But then I looked at the 19 after that, the top 20. I think I said top 10, but top 20. It went to 400,000 from there, 300,000 to, and then a lot, 100,000. The rest are in the 100,000s before it dipped below. I had to go 20 people down before it. This is only the first 2 months of the year. So then I got to thinking, every time a career path, I always ask, every career path we have, I ask everybody on the call, what is it that really makes you make $6 million a year doing this? You make $600,000. What really is the key? What's the real, what's the real success, the secret? Tell me your secret. And everybody says reckless mailing. They don't say that phrase, but that's what they mean.
I like that. That's a good phrase.
They're not looking at, well, should I send out 5,000 mailers?
Per this, and I'm going to analyze that. They're like, just get it out.
It's very, very natural. A lot of people that join Land Academy, or at least the ones that are exposed to me, are jacks. So they are very analytical. They have chosen careers like accounting or mechanical engineering or software design or very technical degrees, and they need something quantifiable. And I completely understand that. So it's very popular for those types of people to hang their entire theoretical success doing this on a number like, how many mailers do I have to send out to buy a piece of property? To which I have answered since 2015, I don't know. There's tons of variables involved. Did you price the mailer right? Did you choose the right county and run the red, green, yellow test correctly? Are you consistently sending 5,000 out, or just sending 5,000 out to see if you can get one? What's your real attitude? And then most importantly, which is the hardest thing for them to digest because they have my personality type, who's answering your phone? And are they taking deals that could have probably slipped through the cracks, or there's theoretically thought there's no deal there, and had them be transferred into a successful real estate deal by somebody like Jill? The older ones tend to understand. Mm-hmm. The younger ones, we always have people in our group that believe that, and we had a question like that today, believe that texting and email are somehow going to get a real estate deal done for you. And I'm here to tell you, and I would have believed that years ago. Mm-hmm. I am here to tell you, these people want to hear a friendly voice on the other end of the phone. They want to have a relationship, and they want to sell you their property. Yeah. But they don't want you to be, they don't want this to be any type of insincere. They don't want they want to believe that you're going to pay them $32,541 at the end of escrow, which we do, and our members do. So it starts with reckless mailing.
And it ends with success.
After you do 5 or 10 deals, you're not going to care about mailer yield ever again.
Yeah.
You just do a huge mailer. You buy 14 or 15 properties. This is the way Jill and I do it. The mailer might have been 80,000. It might have been 50,000. It might have been 15.
Right.
But we're busy running around doing deals, and we make a lot of money doing it. So I stopped calculating mailer yield, if we ever really calculated it.
I never calculated it.
Many,
how I am.
Many years ago.
I just look at the bank balance going, yep, keep going. Don't stop, send more.
And to bring this full circle, that's what the people in Career Path said. Oh yeah, I worried all about that right when I started, and I did 5 deals and made $182,000, and I think I spent $15,000 on mail. Right. Or maybe it was 20, I don't remember.
Yeah. Who cares?
That's how the conversation always goes. And most of them don't even know that's their secret sauce, because they go about things in their life like that, which I have to tell you, Jill and I do too. Mm-hmm. It's responsible, but a lot of stuff we do is just reckless barrel forward until, we're either going to die doing this, or it's going to work out great. Yeah. Figuratively die.
Hilarious. Oh boy.
Join us next Wednesday for another interesting episode. You're not alone in your real estate ambition. We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.